Everyone, Saturday morning. How are you? So, just wanted to do a real quick conversation with you about what we're seeing in the week. And first off, you'd be remiss if we just didn't flash back and sort of celebrate, acknowledge, ask ourselves what it means that unemployment is 3.5%. The last time we got down here, or at least close to here, was 1969. That was actually before I was born, in fairness. So I've never seen anything like this. So, when I look at that number and I've thought about it now for almost 24 hours, you know, I find myself asking a couple of questions. The first one is, can it get better? And I guess, records are made to be broken. The economy seems to be on a very interesting trend line, right? The growth in the services industry at the top of the market. We do seem to have lost retail and manufacturing in the report. And we do have all these other outside forces that we've been talking about. But no one can argue with 3.5% unemployment. Certainly was unexpected to me. But again, do we think it's likely to continue to go lower? Or do you think this is kind of the blow off top rally? And we kind of reverse from here, and it's the reverse that I've been trying to track. It's what I look for. I try to look for cracks in the economy, because when unemployment turns, in my experience, what happens is the consumer kind of gets nervous, rightly so, right? If they see their neighbor, their cube over, get a pink slip, or whatever that is, they spend less, and that's really what I'm looking for in this. Is because if I can see the consumer at the margins spending less, I'm going to have less competition in real estate, and more people are frankly going to be renters, which again is good for landlords. And again, that's really what I'm trying to uncover, because real estate is a long game. You need to watch lots of things. If you can watch when the market turns in your favor and go all in, you really can change your financial future. So again, 3.5, didn't see it coming. Would have never bet on it in a million years that we would get to that point. And now the question is what happens next. Next week, a big deal for us is going to be the trade talks with China starts off. I don't know about you, but I think 2 weeks ago I would have expected more fireworks and consistency and things of that nature. But I think both sides are hungry for a win. I think there was some good faith done 2 or 3 weeks ago where there were reductions. Soybean comes to mind, where China stopped trade tariffs on soybean, started buying again, which was huge for our farmers. So again, I think both parties need a win, and I think a win of really any size goes right to the top of the headlines, makes both sides look good, and really, it could bolster the end of the year. So it'll be interesting to watch. But of course, we'd be remiss in saying they could easily blow up. It's probably a very high pressure situation. Both sides don't want to appear weak. That's probably what's critical to both parties, is they don't want to appear weak. So I'm very hopeful. I'm hopeful for a win next week. One thing I got to do more of, and thank you for sending me the articles, Dominic. Dominic sent me some articles on Elizabeth Warren that I want to look at today, because again, I think she is rising in popularity. And early on I was looking at Bernie Sanders because he frankly went after real estate, so I had to look at him. But apparently Elizabeth has some stuff that I need to read, and I'll create a video this weekend or on Monday. But one thing I know about Elizabeth Warren is she is getting a lot of attention for simply 2 words, and it's 2 cents. Apparently, a lot of her rallies now are having people chant 2 cents, 2 cents, 2 cents. I didn't get it, so I went and looked it up. And apparently, what she is getting, where the 2 cents come from, is basically the idea that the rich people need to pay their fair share. Like Bernie, she is attracted by the idea of taxing net worth. She wants the federal government to evaluate your assets, everything from your cars to your houses, the paintings, essentially everything. and which scares the hell out of me. I wouldn't want the federal government in my business, but they're not going to be, because what she is doing is she's looking at charging 2% of net worth for anybody worth 50 million. So I'm safe by miles, but it's not a positive trend. Because today it's 50 million, then it's 5 million, then it's 500 grand, then it's 50 grand, right? So it's a slippery slope once you start doing that. Again, but the beauty of targeting the rich, 50 million and above, I don't know, what's 1%, maybe a 0.5% of the population. So it's, hey, 99% of us go after the 1%, which is a sexy message. Doesn't impact me at all. I'm not anywhere close to that, and but still, I don't like the precedent it sets. I don't like the idea of the federal government coming in and messing in someone's private business. That just doesn't sit well with me. And I really hate the idea of taxing net worth. If you don't know what I mean by that, I did a video earlier with me holding a mango and talking about taxing a mango tree where income was the fruit. Totally okay with that, right? Take 5 of the 50. But once you started attacking net worth, you started hacking branches, and pretty soon you don't have a tree and no one has income. So not a big fan of taxing net worth. But she is definitely picking up in power. So I need to do some research and figure out where she stands on real estate and all those subjects. So more to come. I've read an article from Marc Benioff, CEO of Salesforce. If you don't know who he is, he's a big technology tycoon in the Bay Area. I like reading Marc's stuff, Marc's opinions, because he is his own man. For example, he talks about Facebook having or should be regulated as far as usage. He sees it as this generation's cigarette. So when someone has that kind of opinions and backs them up, he gives away lots of money. So again, he's not just somebody talking. He's doing great work. The article that I captured on him today or read on him was he thinks capitalism is dead as we know it, and a new kind of form of capitalism is coming together. That's the headline that caught my attention. I'm like, I don't think capitalism's dead. Let me see what Marc's talking about. What he was really talking about is CEOs and founders of technology company. What they need to do is they can't be just about chasing the money anymore, kind of the 1980s where greed is good kind of mindset and money for money's sake. What should be coming up is more of a societal good, where it's really what he's getting at there is it's a balance of money, profit, and good for the society. So Marc, I hope you're right. I've always thought the greed is good was kind of an outdated, macho, testosterone, silly thing. And now if we go after a societal good, as CEOs, as leaders, and frankly, you as a CEO, you get to help, mentor and create lots of, future CEOs. So that'd be good to see. In addition to that, I read an article from Jerome Powell, and this one kind of concerned me. Basically, what he said was the Fed's job is to keep the economy in a good place as long as possible. There's a lot in that statement that is not quantified in opinion and frightens me, right? He's the leader of the Fed, and he's talking about keeping the American economy in a good place. Who's to define a good place, right? Is this the 2% inflation, kind of full employment? Well, then say that. My feeling is he's trying to say those metrics are outdated, which was the old standard. And then what he's trying to say for as long as possible, right? Sometimes the party's over and people need to go home. But if you're saying as long as possible and you want people to come back on board and all of that, let me know. So in the end, that's what I got today. Everybody have a great day. Take care.